Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to embark on a deeply fascinating and honestly kind of overdue journey into the very things we spend most of our lives trying to hide. We're going to look at the hidden, beautiful science behind our most awkward physical and emotional bodily functions. So let's take a collective deep breath, set aside all that embarrassment, and really dive into exploring the brilliant biological codes that make us human.
To start, I want you to cast your mind back a bit. Picture this. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, surrounded by the absolute stillness of your room, and suddenly realized your shins, or maybe your thighs or knees, were just throbbing with this deep, relentless, aching pain? You probably tossed and turned, maybe tried massaging your legs, but felt entirely helpless against the brutal demands of your own changing flesh. We universally call them growing pains, right? And adults so often just brush them off, saying, you're just running around too much.
Or, okay, perhaps your memory takes you back to a hot, sticky physical education class. You're 12, maybe 13 years old, and you suddenly notice this strange, heavy scent rising from your own body. In that exact split second, an invisible wave of anxiety probably gripped your chest. You secretly sniffed your sleeve, absolutely terrified of being judged, feeling that visceral, incredibly isolating shame of puberty and your own natural body odor.
And it definitely doesn't stop with just the physical changes. Think about it. Have you ever desperately tried to shield your face to hide a deep crimson blush? Or furiously wiped away tears because you felt ashamed of your own sorrow in front of other people? Modern society frequently labels all these reactions as mechanical glitches, or weaknesses, or embarrassing flaws. But what if I told you they are actually brilliant, highly sophisticated evolutionary mechanisms?
Let's start our journey by looking at those late-night leg aches, which are so often dismissed as just a childhood nuisance. When we look at the incredible medical research of renowned pediatric endocrinologist Dr. Angelo DeGeorge, we find out that growing pains are actually living proof of the breathtaking speed of development our bodies endure. It is literally a sacred stretching ritual. It's a necessary price the body absolutely must pay to unlock a completely new stature.
Okay, let's dive into this and look closely at the biological process, because it's wild how this tension unfolds. As you enter that explosive phase of puberty, your body is under the powerful command of growth hormone, and that hormone peaks at its absolute highest levels during deep sleep. This is exactly why the pain hits you at night. Your long bones, like the femur and tibia, they begin growing at a dizzying, rapid pace. But your muscles, your ligaments, and tendons, they can't instantly lengthen to keep up. So this structural lag pulls everything super tight, causing continuous, intense mechanical tension on the periosteum, which is the highly sensitive outer membrane of your bone.
You know, the universe operates on a pretty fundamental law. To expand your boundaries, you must accept a degree of fracturing. Think of a seed wishing to become a grand oak tree. It literally has to violently tear through its peaceful little shell. Those late-night aches were the precise moments your body was actively expanding its own limits. This physical breakthrough beautifully mirrors the existential vulnerabilities of leaving the innocent, comfortable shelter of childhood behind to reach incredible new heights. Your pain was simply your body whispering that you were growing.
And that brings us to another major biological shift, the actual chemistry of maturing. To really understand body odor, we turn to the fascinating research of Dr. George Puberty, a bioorganic chemist. He starkly contrasts the completely sterile sweat glands of childhood with the highly complex glands of puberty. See, throughout childhood, you operated almost exclusively through eccrine glands, which just secrete a tasteless, odorless mixture of water and salt purely to cool the skin. But puberty awakens the apocrine glands. These newly active glands release a thick, rich fluid packed with proteins, lipids, and organic compounds.
But here's the tragedy. Instead of marveling at this amazing biological milestone, we panic. We're totally driven by the intense context of peer pressure and schoolyard shame. This fear can become so severe that it triggers something called olfactory reference syndrome, or ORS. It's a psychological condition where young people live in this constant, exhausting paranoia that they smell foul and are actively being rejected by everyone around them. And sadly, the modern cosmetics industry completely exploits this exact fear to commercialize heavy fragrances and deodorants, inadvertently suffocating the self-esteem of a whole younger generation. They basically force teenagers to reject their completely healthy, harmless natural scent in favor of sterile, artificial chemicals. And this brilliantly illustrates such a beautiful natural mechanism if we just change our perspective. Imagine the underarm skin not as some gross problem area, but as a tiny, warm biological valley. Here, the apocrine glands quietly offer up their rich sap. The natural bacteria that live on our skin, they are not enemies at all. They are indigenous artisans. They take that nutrient-rich sap and distill it into an original, earthy perfume, your totally unique chemical signature. So that initial awkwardness you feel, that is merely the band tuning their instruments before creating a complete, magnificent melody of adulthood. To truly reclaim our bodies from this commercialized shame, we can practice something incredibly healing that I call the body honor ritual. The next time you step into the shower, don't just aggressively scrub away what you've been taught is a flaw. Instead, take a slow, deep breath. Connect that breath to your solar plexus and your heart chakra. As the warm water washes away the day, I want you to silently whisper a profound gratitude to your sweat glands. Thank them for working tirelessly to protect you and for beautifully shaping your unique masculine or feminine energy. This simple meditative act actually transforms external, manufactured shame right into deep internal pride.
So, just as we mature physically, we also mature psychologically. Consider the utterly involuntary reflex of blushing. I like to think of it as an apology written in red. Think of the exact moment you make a silly mistake in a crowd, right? You desperately want to hide, but your body totally betrays you. Blushing happens precisely when the protective walls of our proud armor crumble. But you gotta wonder, why does our biology force us into the glaring spotlight exactly when we want to disappear? Well, psychologist Dr. Ray Crozier maps out the instantaneous neurological journey of blushing for us, showing how it is completely controlled by the sympathetic nervous system. It entirely bypasses your rational control. First, your brain perceives a social danger or embarrassment. Instantly, your body releases a spike of adrenaline. This hormone rushes through your system, and because the blood vessels in your face and neck are incredibly sensitive and situated right close to the surface, they immediately dilate. They literally welcome a massive rush of blood, painting your cheeks a vibrant crimson. So the crucial point is how we interpret this red flag. Dr. Crozier found blushing is actually a primitive social signal demonstrating sincerity, remorse, and a genuine desire for reconciliation. People who blush are actually forgiven faster. And looking at this through the depth psychology of Carl Jung, we realize our conscious ego tries so hard to build a flawless, unshakable persona. But the body does not know how to lie. Blushing is never a cowardly weakness. It is the physical manifestation of a pure soul, an honest nervous system, and a heart that truly cares deeply about its community. From the intense heat of a blush, let's shift the narrative over to the soothing waters of a tear. We live in a world that wrongly glorifies a very rigid, unbending type of strength, frequently labeling tears as a failure or the hallmark of a fragile soul. But the truth is, crying is actually the ultimate biological pain reliever. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer biochemistry of sorrow. Biochemist Dr. William Frey discovered that not all tears are created equal. It's fascinating. If you chop an onion, your body produces tears made of water and basic enzymes just for physical lubrication. But when you cry from deep emotion, from heartbreak, or overwhelming stress, the chemical makeup changes entirely. Emotional tears contain very high concentrations of ACTH, which is a major stress hormone, and leucine and enkephalin, a natural painkiller. Crying literally, physically excretes emotional toxins and stress right out of your body, bringing your nervous system safely back to biological equilibrium. To elevate this breathtaking biochemistry even further, we can look to the existential philosopher Viktor Frankl, a man who survived unimaginable horrors. He wrote that there is absolutely no need to be ashamed of tears, for they bear witness that a person has carried the greatest of courage, the courage to suffer. Crying is not a surrender of reason, not at all. It is an incredibly courageous act of self-healing, a totally necessary physical release, and absolutely the first step in finding profound meaning within our own wounds. Finally, we move from skin-deep reflexes and healing tears to the most profound physiological phenomenon of all, goosebumps. It is, quite beautifully, the soul's silent shiver. You know the feeling, right? It's that chilling, electrifying tightening of the skin when you hear a hauntingly beautiful melody or witness something truly sacred. Physiologist Dr. George Bubenek explains that piloerection, the scientific term for goosebumps, was originally an ancient sympathetic nervous system reflex designed to puff up our ancestors' fur to trap heat or intimidate predators. But in modern humans, without all that fur, it has evolved into something deeply emotional, a phenomenon called frisson. These are emotional goosebumps triggered by intense aesthetic pleasure, literally causing your brain to release a massive, overwhelming wave of dopamine.
Let's move to and see how this builds into something truly transcendent. People who easily get goosebumps from art actually possess a significantly higher density of nerve fibers connecting their auditory centers directly to their emotional centers. Connecting this once again to Carl Jung, goosebumps represent the awakening of our collective unconscious. It is your deepest intuition sending an undeniable physical signal of validation. When your skin shivers at a piece of music or a profound truth, it is quite literally your body physically saying yes to what your soul is already feeling.
So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. When was the last time you truly paused to thank your body for the beautiful, awkward, and profoundly honest ways it protects you? From the aching growth of your stretching bones to the original perfume of your maturity, from the incredibly honest red apology on your blushing cheeks to the healing toxins leaving through your tears and that intuitive shiver on your skin, I challenge you to deeply honor your authentic biology. Embrace your imperfections, trust your body's silent codes, and please stop fighting the magnificent machinery of your own life. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep trusting yourself, and I'll see you next time.